Well, Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2019 if you're watching this today. I hope you're off to a great start for this brand new year. So many opportunities ahead of us and all that we have coming up in this brand new year. And recently I was given a gift for Christmas. It's called The Leader's Heart. It's a 365-day devotional by John Maxwell. An amazing close friend of mine gave this to me, and she definitely knows my heart if she's going to get me this. And when I got this, I knew right away I was going to commit every day to reading this and going through this to soften my heart towards God and to get my heart primed and ready for more and more leadership and what God has for me in that capacity. And then I had this thought, I want to share some of these that come up with you. And let's spend a few minutes, maybe a couple times a week, going through some devotionals together to build your faith, to help you lead in your life. And diving right into this, January 1, let's start it off today together. This title of this today is The Invitation to Lead. And let's take a verse together out of Genesis 1:26. It says, "Then God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all of the earth." And you got to know right away, when God set everything in motion, when He created everything, as soon as He created us as human beings, He gave us dominion. A couple of verses later in verse 28, it says that He gave us dominion to rule over all things. And so we got to understand that leadership and leading our life, it's in our blood. It's how we were created to be. God is the ultimate leader. He set everything in motion. But what's unique is He gave us dominion in this lifetime over everything in our life, over everything that He's created. He's given us the authority to lead in it. And I was thinking about our life and how often do we take that? How often do we use that? How often do we just really gonna just sit back and go, this is my life. This is what it is. This is what it was meant to be. And I gotta tell you that there's so much more than that. If God created us to be a leader, if God created us to have dominion, if God created us to rule, then why are we sitting back, especially in our own life, and not taking advantage of that? And just to pull up a couple examples in the Bible here, because this is so good to look at, and I'll explain why in just a second. But you look at Abraham. God called Abraham to lead, not lead just his own life, but he was going to be the leader of many descendants. You look at somebody like Moses. Yeah, he had to lead his own life, but God also called him to lead an entire nation out of slavery. Look at somebody like Joshua. Now, Joshua was called to lead Israel into the promised land. The unique thing about these and so many more people in the Bible that we can give an example of is that we kind of put these guys up on a pedestal and we say, well, of course God called them. But if you look at their own life, they had their own insecurities. They had their own doubts. They had their own negative thinking. They had their own things that they were working through in their life that they could have said, God, you can't use me. And many of these people said to God, no, why would you use me? I look at somebody like Gideon, who, let's be honest, given a task to go against the Philistines like he was, I'd be a little bit freaked out too. Just being honest about that. And then God dwindles down and takes down the size of the army that he was supposed to use. But God put something inside of him that he already knew existed, that Gideon had to find out from himself through walking it out with God. And this is my challenge for you guys as we begin the new year. You have an incredible life to lead. God has given you so many gifts and talents. You have so many unlimited resources that God wants to bless you with. Where are you at today in leading your life and where God has called you to go? Because you have it inside of you. God said, I've given you dominion. I've created you to have authority. I've created you to lead in essence. So what are you doing to lead in your own life? And eventually that's going to trickle down into how you're influencing others as well. And there's such an incredible impact that you have in store that's lying dormant inside of you, and it's time to let it out in 2019. Let's go after it with all that we've got. Let's not hold anything back this year, and let's let God lead us in every aspect of our life.